Hagar sitzt verwirrter, mitten weg euch versteckt.
Well, hello there. It is a real honor to be here on the night of the 15th annual Rabbi Marshall T. Meyer Risk Taker Awards, where we are here together not just to celebrate JFREJ and all that it has done, but also, as Marjorie said, take inspiration from people who have stood up for what's right and put themselves on the front line of justice.
I think of Rabbi Marshall T. Meyer, who once told a group of young college students that one must understand that fear is the inevitable attendant of activism. But one must know how to live with fear, he said. Both the activist and the coward know fear. They know it intimately. The difference is that while the coward allows fear to paralyze him or herself, the activist learns how to function despite the fear that makes you quake. This is the very type of activism that we are celebrating tonight. The original freedom riders, Jose Antonio Vargas, the dreamers. Regardless of the fear and personal loss, they step forward and move on.
At the crucial moment when violence halts the rides in Birmingham and the adults of CORE hesitate, it is the young SNCC-affiliated students in Nashville who pick up the torch and carry the rides forward against the advice of Dr. King and most other adult leaders who fear, with good reason, that they will be killed. Two of those young people are here today, 50 years later, to accept the Rabbi Meyer Risk Taker Award.
But when you really think of it, that's what it's really all about, right? Is that you just won't put up with watching people hurt, and you won't put up with watching yourself be put down, and you won't live in a society that doesn't have better sense, and you won't let people be over you in any political office who doesn't understand that they are in a democracy and that you are part of that democracy and you demand to live like you are, all right? Is that that's the stuff that counts. All of us together in this struggle till the end, no matter how long it takes. And we prepare our children and our children's children for the real struggle that we got. And we must carry these memories and these understandings and share with each other, because we're going to take it far beyond us. They don't go away quickly. The enemies don't go away quickly. And really, I don't want them to. I like fighting them.
And I was thinking about it today, because I've always wondered whether my mother was in any way a risk taker. And these old clients of my father's, who was now dead, right, were calling my mother and asking her to disown us because we had gone on the freedom rides. And we were in jail. And she refused to do it. And she told people that she was proud of us. To us, she said, "How could you do this to me?" But to the outside world, you know, she said she was proud of us.
That is to say, JFREJ not only provides community and a home for lefty,
progressive,
queer,
gender nonconforming,
feminist,
post-feminist,
commie,
pinko,
adversarial,
anti-racist,
anti-imperialist,
kvetching,
Misogyna,
radical,
New York Jews. It is also our role to agitate, challenge, organize, politicize, and hold accountable the wider Jewish community. We seek to remind our people of their history of struggles, to awaken our investment in collective liberation, to connect New York's Jewish communities to today's pivotal struggles for justice, and to ensure that we as Jews sit squarely on the right side of history.
You mean the left side?
That's right. and JFREJ has worked to establish and nurture radical Jewish presence at Occupy Wall Street. Almost since the get-go, JFREJ members have come together at Zuccotti Park to engage in organizing, direct action, ritual, and movement building. We've partnered with Occupy Judaism, Jewish Voice for Peace, Kolot Chayenu, Rabbis for Human Rights, and many others to sustain and grow this movement. As always, we've welcomed and challenged Jews at Occupy Wall Street to be held accountable, to step up and to step back, to be strong anti-racist allies, to call out anti-Jewish oppression, while also challenging those seeking to use our oppression to decry our collective struggle, and to derive political nourishment from our collective histories of struggle that have made this moment possible. JFREJ members have served in the People's Kitchen, have served on the Safer Spaces Working Group, have put their bodies on the line in the streets and on the Brooklyn Bridge, have slept out in the rain, and have turned out in large numbers to defend the occupation.
And for what it's worth, our occupied sukkah was the first freestanding structure that the NYPD allowed. Perhaps setting a vital precedent that would make possible the proliferation of other tents and shelters throughout. And it's also important to note that the first time that we tried to slip past with a non-halakhic, regular old tent sukkah, a police officer ordered us to dismantle it and remarked to Marjorie, "I happen to know, if you can't see the stars, it's not a sukkah."
That's a win, that's a win.
Jose faced both his fears and our own, adding his courage, privilege, and energy to a growing freedom movement of dreamers, seeking to redeem the very soul of America.
I was merely stating a fact. I'm an American without papers. It's a statement. It's a fact. It is not an intellectual exercise. It is not written in abstraction or in theory. It's a fact. It's not a question. It's actually an answer. And now that my very existence seems to be an act of civil disobedience, what has been most comforting and really inspiring and really empowering has been reading and studying and learning from what happened before me, what has happened all before us, the freedom riders, the civil rights movement, the fact that America is something that we must insist on, the fact that our job, before we can talk about justice all we want, but we can't talk about justice unless we raise the level of consciousness amongst all of us. I've always thought that's what a journalist does, to raise the level of consciousness. I've thought that what a journalist does is to expose us to each other. I thought that what a journalist does is not just to tell the truth and to expose the truth, but to connect the dots. And that's why it's wonderful being here, because here we're at a place in which the dots are all connected. And it really has been the guide to my journalism and what I do. Our history is each other. That is our only guide. Thank you very much for this tremendous honor.
Over these first 2 decades of JFREJ's life, we've also learned, as an ally to some of the city's most vulnerable communities, that the impoverishment and police brutality highlighted by the Occupy movement and the efforts to repress it are nothing new to communities of color. The word racial in our name remains as apt as ever.
JFREJ adds a unique and important dimension, not just to Jewish social justice organizing, but also as an ally in the citywide movement for justice. And I am enormously moved by the work it is doing and the potential for its future. As JFREJ's new director, Marjorie, has already shown her capacity for moving JFREJ forward in wonderful and meaningful ways. JFREJ is more than just an organization. It is part of the movement building that is sweeping the city, the country, and the world.
Talk about connecting the dots. We've been celebrating the 50th year of the Freedom Riders and that movement, and now here we are with the Dreamer movement. And when I think about United We Dream, 3 words really come to mind. It's inspiring, it's empowering, and it's liberating. Watching a group of young people, many of whom are still in high school or in college, organizing, self-organizing, forming committees, learning how to fundraise, learning how to talk to the media, and learning to speak their truth.
We've been able to make this movement. It's no longer a legislation. It's no longer a bill. This is about, about who we are and where we stand. Jose had said this. I'm gonna quote him. He said, we are here to expose the truth. And as a person who's studying journalism, it's what I've learned throughout this whole year in school, is that I'm here to tell you who I am, not who I sit behind. I'm no longer, sitting behind and telling people I don't exist. Being in myself, I've been in organizing for almost 7 years, and I started in middle school, and now I'm a national coordinator for 7 states. So United We Dream has really opened the doors for me.
We're continuing to enact a true culture shift and are building power around the idea that we are all interdependent.
Doesn't that make you want to get involved?